Okay. Why do we use lookup function? Why do we use lookup function? To search the columns, different columns from different tables. Okay. And when can we use lookup function? There is one more function also to look up for the same thing. What is that?
Relationship.
Related. When do we use related and when do we use lookup? When? When there is relationship, we'll use related function. When there is no relationship, but when we have common column, we'll use lookup function. Okay. This is one thing. And what else? When do we use nested lookups? How many kinds of lookups first? How many kinds of lookups? Two. Three. What are they? How many lookup functions? How many kinds of lookup functions? 1, 2, 3, 4. मैं खुद बोलूं? Very good. Only one lookup function. Okay, only one lookup function, that is lookup value. In Excel, there are 3 to 4 kinds of lookup functions. Okay, but in Power BI, there is only one lookup function. There is no H lookup, there is no V lookup, there is no X lookup, index and match. No. Okay, there is one more related function. But when do we use nested lookups? When do we use nested lookups? Multiple conditions. When we have a bridge table, if that is a which schema? I mean, that is called, when we have bridge tables, that is called which schema? How many schemas do we have? What are they? Star, snowflake, and galaxy. Okay, when we have bridge tables, that is called? When we have bridge tables, that is called? Anyone? Online participants. When we have a bridge table, that is called? Snowflake. Okay, when we have bridge tables, that is called a snowflake schema, right?
Okay.
Okay. See here. Okay. What have we done? All right, this is done. So till last session, we have completed the calculated columns. Okay. Now we'll start with the measures. Tell me, what is a measure? What is a measure? What was calculated column? What is a measure, and difference between these two? Anyone? What is calculated column? What is a measure, and difference between them? ये भी मैं खुद बोलूं? What is calculated column? Calculated column. Calculated column. We are creating some new columns which are physically visible inside our data. Now, what is a measure? A relation create which is not physically created. Huh? Relation create which is not physically created.
Wow.
Expression. I did not understand this, Naresh. I did not understand this. So what was I saying? Okay, what is a measure? Which cannot be seen physically, but while executing that will perform whatever operation that we mentioned. Okay. Next thing, there are two things here. Two contexts we can say. One is row context, one is filter context. Okay. Row context and filter context. First, we'll talk about row context. What do you understand by row context? Row context. Gives each value to the row. Okay. All the calculated columns that we have created comes under row context. Why? All the calculated columns that we have created comes under row context. There are two kinds of context. One is row context, one is filter context. Okay, we are talking about row context. All the calculated columns that we have created comes under row context. Why? Because it gives each row a single value. Okay, if we go to the table view and see the films table, right? All of these are nothing but our created columns, calculated columns, right? If you see, each and every record has a single value. That's why calculated columns comes under row context. Next one is filter context. All the measures that we are going to create comes under filter context. Why? Why? Measures gives a single value. We'll be able to filter that single value. We'll be able to cut down that. We'll be able to, how can we say, filter is nothing but just, how can we say that filter? Slice that thing, right? We will be able to see a small part of that number also, right? Single value. See here, that is nothing but row context and filter context. Is this understood? Shall I repeat? Row context and filter context. Row context, first thing, all the columns that we have created comes under row context. Why? Because for every column that we have created, each and every row has a single value. Is this clear? Right? Each and every row has a single value. That's why we call it as row context. Measures, when we talk about measures, that is called a filter context. Why? Have you seen calculate function? Yes, calculate function. See here, simple thing, micro level. Okay, what is calculate function? What is calculate function? We have seen this, I remember. Calculate. Calculate function. Calculate example. Calculate function. What is this calculate function? Evaluates an expression in context modified by filters. What does that mean? Evaluates an expression in a context modified by filters. What does that mean? Explain me the definition that you see there. Definition of calculate function. After based on filter, give expression. The terminology that we use is the most important one. Okay, the proper sentence should be used. Yes, explain me the calculate function. What does it do? What does it do? Multiple conditions. See, okay. I'll just write total budget. Okay, we'll just use some function of budget column. Sorry. Yeah, budget dollars. This is a column. Okay, close this, enter. If you use card visual for this, yes, see. Simple card visual. I'll just drag and drop total budget that we have just created into this card visual. You'll see that total number, correct. Same thing, I'll add one more new measure. This is for all genres, all certificates, all directors, all movies, everything, correct. Now if you want to apply some filters, okay. Calculate example is equal to calculate function. Expression, what do we want to calculate? Sum of budget column, okay. In this sum of budget column, we want to apply a filter. What is that filter? For example, we want to see only budget for action movies. Okay, what will we write now? This is the expression that we want to calculate. If you see the syntax, first input is expression, next filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, and so on. We can apply hundreds of filters also. Doesn't matter. First input, we have given expression. What do we want to calculate? Sum of budget dollars. Filter 1, if you want to see only for action films, what will we write here? We have seen this already. Genre table, genre equal to only action. Okay. Now tell me, what does calculate do? It will calculate an expression applying some filters. Okay. This is a measure that we have created. This is nothing but filter context. Okay. This is nothing but filter context. Is this understood? Shall I repeat? Anyone, online participants, is this understood? While creating calculated columns, we will not be able to apply filters. Simple. While creating measures, we can apply filters. That's it, nothing else. That's why calculated columns comes under row context, measures comes under filter context. Okay. Yes or no? Did not had breakfast? Very good. Explain again. Okay. Simple thing. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Measures cannot be seen physically in dataset table. Okay. In measures, two kinds of measures. What are the two types of measures? We have seen this one also. Two kinds of measures or two types of measures. Implicit and explicit. What is implicit and what is explicit? Implicit, inbuilt measures. Okay. It will be just drag and drop. Okay. Next one, what is explicit? New measure. Okay. New measure that we create. I mean, writing formulas, writing functions. Okay. Implicit is nothing but there will be ready-made functions. We just have to drag and drop, same like we do with the visuals. Explicit, we have to write the whole formula. Okay. Next thing, row context. What is row context? Each row or each record will have a value. Okay. Filter context. Filter context. Filter context. We will be able to apply some filters while creating measures. Okay. While creating some measures, we will be able to apply some filters. Simple thing. When we create some calculated columns, we will not be able to apply some filters. That's it. Row context, all the calculated columns. Filter context is nothing but measures. Okay. Now, in most of the cases, in 100% of the cases, we'll go with the new measure. We will never use quick measure. That is, why don't we use quick measure and why do we go for new measure? Why do we go for new measure and why don't we use quick measure? All the operations that we perform, all the things that we perform is also available in the quick measure also. But why do we not use that? Quick measure cannot be customized. Okay, quick measure cannot be customized, right? Dynamic. Customize option is not available. Yes, exactly. Okay. So we will start with simple measures, right? Sum, average, minimum, maximum, range. What is range? Anyone know what is range? Range. Number of cells between values. Okay. For example, we have simple small numbers 1 to 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is the range? What is range?
10.
Range is not like two numbers, right? Range is 1 to 10. That we already know. That is the general thing. But when we calculate range, we'll get a single value. Okay. What is that single value?
10.
Simple maximum value minus minimum value. Okay, that we call as a range. Range definition is simple maximum value minus minimum value. Okay, for example, if you want to calculate, if you want to see what is the range for only budget column, what do we write? Maximum of budget minus minimum of budget. Simple thing. That is nothing but range. Okay, we'll start with the simple one, sum. We have already seen sum, total. Total box office. Okay, equal to, we'll simply write sum of box office dollars. This will create a new measure which calculates or which shows the sum of box office dollars. Okay. See here. Just remove this one. Add a new table. In this table, we will add genre, for example, as columns. Okay. And we'll also add our newly created total box office. Okay. Now, what do we see here? For each genre, what is the sum of box office? Let's increase the size. Okay, for each genre, we'll be able to see. Now, for example, we want to see the average. Then what do we write? We want to see for each genre, what is the average box office? How do we write? I mean, what do we write in the formula? What do we write in the formula? Volume. Average, we'll write simple average function. Okay, same like sum, we'll write average function, or simply go here, click on this drop down, we can change this to average also. Okay, where is this? Okay, this is a measure, this is not possible. I'll just cancel this measure. We'll just drag and drop box office. Sorry, box office. By default, it will give us sum of box office. If you just click on this drop down, you can select average. Okay. This is the manual process. We have to drag and drop numeric column, then change, click on that drop down, change that to. Instead of doing all of these things, we'll add a new measure. Okay. Total box office. We'll create a new measure. All right. Average box office is equal to average function. Difference between average and average X. Box office dollars. Average and average X. Average X can be applied on multiple columns. Okay. This is the simple average function. We'll see example for that also. Sum X, sum function. Average X, average function. The difference is same. In sum also, we'll be able to give input only one column. In average or sum X, based on multiple columns, we can get the output. For example, in the table, we don't have profit column. Okay. Profit column. We have box office collections, and we have budget also. How do we get profit column? How do we get profit column? Profit column, profit or loss column. But is it budget minus box office or box office minus budget? Box office minus budget. We'll get to see profit or loss. Okay. Now we don't have that column by default in our data set. Okay, I'll create a new measure. We want to see average of profit or loss for each genre. Okay, average of profit or loss for each genre. I'll write average of profit or loss equal to which function should we use now? Is it possible using simple average function? No. Why? Because we don't have that profit or loss column in our data set. Simple. If we have, we can use simple average function. We'll use average x. Okay. You can read the definition, calculates the average, which is also called as arithmetic mean. Mean is nothing but average. Okay. Of set of expressions evaluated over a table. Simple. If you see the inputs also, is this table and expression. Table is table name, film table, expression that we want to calculate. Expression that we want to calculate. Box office minus budget. Okay. This expression is not possible to give in simple sum or simple average function. Okay. Simple sum function, simple average function will not be able to give this expression. That is nothing but formula that we want to calculate. In the average x or sum x, we will be able to give this expression. Okay. Hit enter. Then now you'll be able to see for each genre what is the average x of profit. I mean average of profit or loss. If we add this also to the table, we will get to see the numbers. Is this understood difference between sum and sum x, average and average x? Yes or no? Shall I repeat? Shall I repeat? Yes. Okay, see here. In more simple words, I'll try this to explain. Okay. Okay. See here. This, for example, budget column. This is box office column. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Box office, we have got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, these are the values. And we want to calculate profit or loss. How do we generally calculate profit or loss? How do we generally calculate? Equal to 6 minus 1. Okay. This is our profit or loss. Okay. Same thing, for example, here we have all the values as same values, 5, doesn't matter. For example, if we have a genre column. Okay, here A, B, A, B, A. Okay, now we want to see what is the average profit or loss for each genre. Average profit or loss for each genre. Okay, how do we generally do that? Is this possible using simple average function? No. Simple average function will give only one input. It will just calculate the average of the whole column that we give. Average x function we can give. Sorry, this one. Average x function will be able to give the expression that we want to calculate. From this expression, whatever number we are getting, find out the average of that number for each genre. That is what this sentence means. That is what this formula means. Is this understood now? Yes or no? Okay, good. Okay, next. Minimum and maximum. This we know already. Minimum example. Okay. What do we write? Simple minimum function. MIN. Okay. Minimum function of, for example, box office. What do we get? If we just hit enter here and that add that same measure to the table, what do we get? We have created a measure where we are trying to get minimum value from the box office dollars column. If we just add the same to the table, what do we get? Minimum value for each genre. Okay, see here. 3110000. This is the minimum value in the action genre. Okay, so like this for each genre, based on the grouping, if we just remove genre from here, what do you see? Just the total sum of number. After that, we have calculated average of P and L, and then minimum value. For the whole data set, for the whole table, this is the minimum value. Okay, because we are adding grouped or categorical column into the table, we'll get to see for each category what is the minimum value, what is the total value, what is the average value. Next, similarly, we have maximum also. Okay, I'll just write maximum example, maximum of box office, enter. Maximum, where is this? Maximum example. I'll just drag and drop onto the table. Then you'll get to see for each genre what is the maximum number. Okay. Next, range. What is range? What do we know about range? Maximum minus minimum value. For a range of numbers 1 to 10, what is the range? 10 minus 1, that is 9. 9 is the range. Same here also. Maximum number minus minimum number. Okay. I'll write range example equal to maximum example. We will be able to refer to the measure that we have created, maximum example minus minimum example. Okay, this is also range. Simple. Or we can write the whole expression also. Maximum of box office dollars minus minimum of box office dollars. That is also range only. Okay. Just add this to the table. You'll get to see the numbers. Okay. Is this understood? Yes or no? Yeah. Shall we move on? Count function. Next. What is count? I'll create a new measure. Count 1. I'll just write it as count 1 equal to count function. What does it do? Just counts the numbers in a column. Okay. For example, if I apply this count function on the ID, which IDs do we have? Okay, certificate ID or country ID. Okay, what do we get? What do we get? Country ID. Count 1 is the measure name that we have created. I'll just add this to the table. What are these numbers? 20, 20, 20, 20. Why 20? Why 20? The output that we have got is 20. Why 20? What is this 20? What is the meaning of this 20? How do we read this one? For each genre, we have 20 countries. Okay. box office or budget column, they might be empty, but we have a record there, right? For each genre, we have 20. Okay, for example, I'll create a new feature. I'll apply same count function on any text-based column. Okay, text-based column. Let's see if that work. Count 2. This time we'll apply count function on title, for example. Okay, now what do you think will happen if I hit enter? Count 2 will just drag and drop onto the table. What is this? For each genre, how many number of titles, movies are there? For each genre, how many number of movies are there? Okay. Next, same count function if we apply on date column. Same count function if we apply on date column. Count 3 equal to count of release date. Okay. Now, what do we get? First of all, will it count the dates or not? Will it count the dates or not?
Yes.
Number of count for each genre. Okay. Count 3. We'll just add this also to the table. Okay, it is giving us the count. That means count function will count numeric values. Count function will count text values. Count function will also count date values. Okay. Next, for example, there is a Boolean values, true or false values, true or false column in our table. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any? Okay, there is no Boolean column. Okay, let's create a Boolean column first, where we have only true or false values. Tell me any example from this data set and the output should be true or false. Any example, use any function, any column, whatever it might be, our output should be true or false. Anyone, try this one. Question is, from this data set, use any of these columns. Okay, perform any operation, any function, the output should be true or false. Anyone?
package.
Anyone? Boolean function, the output should be true or false. Which columns can be used and which functions can be used? Oscar nominations. How? Oscar nominations, how? Box office? Collection. Tell me the whole formula. We can use any of the column. If not box office, if not budget, if not nominations, if not Oscars, whatever column it might be. True or false should be the output. More than 1 billion, less than 1 billion. Which functions do we use? If condition. If box office is greater than 1 billion, our output should be true, or else it should be false. How do we write the same formula? Instead of 0 or 1. Okay. Or else we can use blank function also, is blank functions also, right? Tell me an example using is blank. Using is blank function. We have seen this already multiple times. Is blank function. Boolean example. Okay, which, I mean, how do we write? Is blank of any column. Any column will work here. Okay. Any column will work here. Budget dollars, box office dollars, or any titles, any director ID, genre ID, or whatever it might be. You'll get to see Boolean values. Okay, false and true. False means the column that we have referred is not a blank cell. True, when do we get true? If that cell is a blank cell. Okay, same thing. We want to count Boolean values, okay, and group them by genre. That means for each genre, how many trues are there, how many are, how many blank values are there, how many non-blank cells are there. How do we write this one? If we apply same count function on Boolean column, will this work? Let's try this one. Count Boolean, okay. Same count function, okay, and we'll write Boolean example. Measure created. If we just add that to the table, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? If we just add here, what do you think will happen? We have just added that measure to the table. Okay, I'll just remove this again. Count Boolean example. This is our table. If we just add that count Boolean to the table, it is giving us the error, Boolean error or break error. Okay, this is nothing but break. If you see here, error fetching the data for this visual. That means it's a break, breaking the visual. Now, how do we get to see this function? How do we get to see the values? How many blank cells are present for each genre? We will simply use count a function. Okay, count a function, right? Hit enter. In Excel, what is the difference between count? Count and count a. In Excel, difference between count and count a. Excel, difference between count and count a function. Count a function in Excel just counts the non-empty cells. Okay, non-empty cells. It might be whatever data type it might be, numbers, dates, text, or space, symbol, whatever it might be. Just count non-empty cells. Count function will only count numeric cells. They're also same thing. Okay, count will count. I mean, in Power BI, count will count text data type. It will count numeric data type. It will count date data type also. But count a function will count. Count a function will count non-empty cells. Okay, non-empty cells. Here the output, if you see, I mean, for count 2 also 166, 3 also 166, and count Boolean also 166. What does that mean? In this genre, for example, action genre, count 2, what did we do here? Titles, for example. Okay, titles, date, and Boolean functions. These many number of titles are there. These many number of dates are there, and these many number of values are there. 166 is the sum of true values and also false values. 166 combination of true values and also false values. Now, how to divide them? How to see how many true values are present and how many false values are present? For each of the genre in this column we have that we have created, we have true values and also false values, correct? How to check how many true values are present and how many false values are present? Anyone? How to check how many true values are present, how many false values are present? How to count true values and false values? First of all, tell me, is this possible using calculated column or a measure? Our question is to check in this column how many false values are present and how many true values are present. Is this possible using calculated column or is this possible using measures? Measures. Which measure, which function, how to do this one? Calculated column. That is not possible using calculated column. Okay, that is not possible. Measures, it is possible, but how? We have to apply a condition. We have to apply a condition and count true values. We have to apply a condition and count false values. Which function do we use? Which function can we use? If we use if function, that is a new column, adding a new column into our data set. That's a calculated column, but we are talking about a measure. Huh? Count? Count X. Count AX. Okay. What is that count AX? Let's see. New measure.
Count AX. I got this. त्याच्यात भारी येतं बरं सगळ्यांना.
Count AX. Okay. Count the number of values which result from evaluating. What does that mean? Counts the number of values which result from evaluating. If you see the syntax, open brackets, type whatever it might be. Table and expression. What does that mean? Same syntax. Oh, sorry. Okay, tell me what does this mean? We'll talk about that function later on. Counts the number of values which result from an evaluating expression for each row of the table. Are we giving any expression here? Are we performing something plus something, something multiplied by something, something minus something? No. When we have that kind of expression, we'll use count A, count AX, whatever it might be. Can this be done using calculate function? Can this be done using calculate function? Yes. How?
Expression.
Calculate. We have a condition. Okay. The value should be true. Okay. For example, we are calculating only true values. True count. We'll just write it as true count. Okay. What will be the input inside calculate function? It is asking for expression. It is asking for filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, and so on. What we will give here? Count A of Boolean. Why count A? Because to count Boolean expressions, it is not possible using only simple count. We should use count A. Okay, count A of Boolean column. Next, this is our expression. This is what we want to calculate. Okay, next, filter 1. Boolean example equal to true. Okay, that's it. Hit enter. This is how we count only true values. Same thing for false values also. Calculate count A. Film of Boolean example. Film of Boolean example is equal to false. Simple. Okay. Next we have one more some more count functions. We'll see those things. For example, we want to count only blank values in each of the column or any column that we specify. Okay. Count blank is the function. Count blank. Count blank. You can read the definition here. Counts the number of blanks in a column. Okay. Same count blank is also available in Excel. Count blank. You guys remember? Count blank function is available in Excel or not? Yes, it is there, right? Same functionality, same everything. If we give box office dollars, what do we get to see? Number of blank cells in the column divided by each genre. If we add that same measure to the table, count blank, add it to the table, you'll get to see for each genre how many number of blank cells are present in the box office dollars column. Next. One more count function, that is distinct count. Distinct count. What does that mean? Distinct count example. Distinct count. There are three kinds of distinct functions. Distinct count, and distinct count no blank. What is this distinct? Only if it's just write simple distinct function, what does that return? You can read the definition there. Returns a one column table. Returns a one column table that contains unique values in a column. What is it doing? It is creating one new table where in that table we only have one column with all the distinct values, unique values that we have. Next, for example, distinct count. What does this do? You can read the definition here. Counts the number of distinct values in a column. Simple. Okay, for example, if we give box office, okay, what does this do? What does this do? If we hit enter, distinct values, sorry, distinct count, I'll add that to the table. Okay, what do we get? 141, 83, 75. What does this mean? Okay, we have 141. This is for action genre. What? I mean, how to read this 141? How to read this 141? There are 141 distinct values present in box office dollars column for the action genre. Okay, this is how we should read. Now this 141, the disadvantage with this 141, I mean distinct count, is this will include blank cells also. 141, that means first of all distinct count removes the duplicates. This we already know. This gives us only unique values, correct? Now this 141 will contains one blank cell also. Okay, distinct count will include blank cells also while giving us the count. Is this understood? Simple distinct function that will create. Okay, let us write here. Okay, after range is nothing but maximum minus minimum. Okay, after this, what have we seen? After this, counts any data type. Okay, count a function. What does count a do? Count a non-empty cells. Okay, example that we have seen, true or false. Okay. Next, count blank. Counts only blank cells. Next, distinct. What does this do? Creates a new table with only one column with unique values. Okay, with unique values. Next, distinct count function. Distinct count. Distinct count. Count the number of distinct values in a column. Okay, distinct count. The disadvantage with this distinct count is it will include or it will, okay, let's write it in simple words. It will consider the blank cell as a value. Okay, it will consider blank cell also as a value. Is this understood? Yes. Now, to exclude the blank cells and get the count, we have one more function. Distinct count no blank. Okay, distinct count no blank. Let's see the example. Create a new measure. Distinct count no blank example. Okay. Distinct count no blank. You can read the definition. This counts the number of distinct values in a column but excluding the blank cells. Okay. Now if we give budget. Okay. Simple thing. This will exclude the blank cells. Where is this? Count the number of distinct values excluding blanks. That means it will not consider blank cells as a single value. That's it, nothing else. Okay, till here is this understood? Any questions in any of these functions that we have seen, any of the formulas that we have seen? Anyone? No questions, all right, thank you. Anyone, any questions still here? Feeling bored? Yes, I can see that on your faces. Is this understood, everyone? Next function. Remove filters. Okay, remove filters. For example, I'll add a new page. I'll add a table. This I'll add genre and total. Is this total budget, for example? Total budget. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Next, I'll create a one new measure. Or let's create a card visual first, then it will be clear. Just cancel this one.
Java. What's problem?
Creating a card visual. Here I'll just add total budget. Okay, total budget 59 billion, and this 59 billion is breakdown with each of the genre. Okay, I'll create a new measure. For example, we want to compare this 59 billion with each of the value here. Okay, we want to compare this 59 billion total budget column with each of the value in the table here. That simply means we want to add a new column. That simply means we want to add a new column to the existing table where each of the value is 59 billion. Okay. Understand this? 59 billion is the total budget. Okay. For all the films, for all the genres, right? We want to compare the 59 billion with each of the budget for each of the genre. Okay. That means we want to compare this 6014021000 with 59 billion. Okay. 6902400000 with 59 billion. That means we simply want to add one extra column in the table where it shows 59 billion, even if we divide that, or categorize that with each genre or certificate or director or country, whatever it might be, the value should not change. Okay, whatever categorization that we are doing, that we try to do, the value should not change. For example, if you just click on crime here, okay. If you just click on crime, this number will also change to 1025. It will show 1 billion, right? If we click on any other genre also, or any other certificate, or any other country, any other director that we have, this number will change. But we want to create a measure where it shows the total number, even if we apply filters. Okay. For that, we have one function, that is remove filters. Let's see here. Remove filters example. Okay. Calculate function. We'll just use calculate function. Expression that we want to calculate, sum of budget column. And from this budget column, I am removing filters. Sorry, remove filters. Okay. Clears filters from the specified table or columns. What does that mean? We'll get same 59 billion. If we add a card visual, we'll get to see same 59 billion. But even if you apply filters, even if you apply any slicers, anything, that number will not change. Okay, simple. See here. Budget column, same. Hit enter. Now, if we just drag and drop this remove filters example onto the table, each and every value, even after categorizing based on the genre, the number will not change.
Static.
Okay, what happened? Is this not the... Let's try it on card visual. I'll remove this total budget. Remove filters. Why is it still filtering? Just a second. Okay. There should not be any inputs in the remove filters. See, simple thing. The remove filters from the expression that we want to calculate. Okay. Now this time hit enter. Okay. This time, even if you filter, that 59 billion will not change. Okay. If we add that same measure to the table also, every value you'll see is 59 billion. Is this understood? I'll just repeat this. See here. Remove filters function is used to remove any filters from the expression that we calculate. Okay, what does that mean? Remove filters function is used to remove any filters from the expression that we calculate. What does that mean? From the measure that we are creating, we want that measure not to be affected by any filters. Okay, not to be affected by any filters. We will use remove filters function. Is this understood? Yes or no? Syntax is very simple. We'll use calculate function. Inside that calculate function, we want to calculate sum of budget dollars. Okay. In this sum of budget column measure, we want that not to be affected by any filters. That's why we write remove filter. Okay. Is this understood? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Same functionality like this. Same like remove filters. We have one more function, that is all function. Okay. Just see here, all function.
अरे खरं हे नाही सर व्हॉइसच आली नाही
We'll create a new measure.
आवाजच आला नाही
All function example. Same thing. I'll use calculate function. Sum of budget. Then we will write all function. All function, you can read the definition, evaluates an expression in the context modified by filter. This is calculate function. This is not all. Okay, returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. What does that mean? Read this definition. Returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. That means that will ignore any filters. That will ignore any filters coming from this visual, that means categorization, or coming from the slicer, or coming from any other visual, or coming from any other page, even from the drill through also. What is drill through? Drill through? Drill through. That is also kind of filter. Drill through. Drill through. Simple one. Drill through. It's a kind of filter. वो सबका पता है. What is drill through? We will be able to navigate between pages based on the filter that we apply in a single page. Example that we have seen, we have added 3 to 4 pages. In the first page, we have added any category, certificates or anything. Okay, we'll be from that first page, we'll be able to navigate to second, third, or fourth page based on the filter that we apply in the first page, based on the selection. Are you able to recall this? Bhagwan Jane. Is this understood? Yes or no? Ignoring, I mean, that is filtering. Here, all function ignores any filter coming from any visual, any slicer, anything that might be. Okay, we'll just use all function, hit enter. Now, same functionality as remove filters. But what is the difference? I'll tell you one second. Okay, we will add that filter, all example, add that all example to the table. It is showing same result, right? First one is for filter, remove filter. Second one is with the all function. But what is the difference? In all function also, we have 2 more functions, right? In all function, okay, I'll just write it here. Same thing here also. But in all, we have 2 more things, all selected and all except. Okay, these 2 are also functions. What do you understand by this all selected? All selected. All function simply removes any filters coming from anywhere. All selected function. Don't overthink, just understand that word, all selected. What does that mean? What do you understand by that? Remove. Okay, see here. All function removes all filters from anywhere. All selected removes any filters coming from the selected column. Okay. Simple all functions removes any filters coming from anywhere. All selected functions removes all the filters but coming from the selected column. Next, what is all except? Removes all filters except the selected column. Is this understood? That is the difference between remove filters and all functions. Okay. We'll see these examples tomorrow. I'll stop it here. We'll continue that tomorrow. Okay. All, it will be very confusing while you practice. Remember this one. Okay. We'll see examples for this tomorrow. Any questions still here? Anything that you want to know or anything?
No, sir.